Stop. Oh yeah, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. A thought experiment. Look at the creatures, the postman, inside the cells of molecular biology and see that behaviour is king. Behaviour happens before the entity that does the behaviour. All that exists with these creatures that walk, delivering things where they need to be within the pieces of ions and pieces of charge, etc., where they need to be within the molecule, does the job. So the cell thinks this job needs to be done. That behaviour exists as a job to be done. The two twisting forces of tension and bending the pi tensor create turbulence, surfactants, and that turbulence is twisted together, creating information about the behaviour. So the turbulence that's created, the surfactants on the thread of the light fibre of the ether, contains this specific piece of information which says, you, space in point and time, you're part of a grand circle. Am I? Yes. Your job is to deliver that ion from there to there, and then keep doing it. Okay. And so it does it. So the twists of the amino acids are created by the surfactants then do the work of the behaviour. And that needs to go physically from one place, because this exists in space as a volume. It needs to physically move from one place to another, and that can only be done by a physical entity. So it's the twisted amino acids creates the little walking legs doing the behaviour. So thought experiment. Can that creature choose not to do the work? So now it's been given the gift of self-locomotion. So it's alive. Self-locomotion. Life. End of. Not robots, because they're locomoted by us. We've locomoted them. Look at where I was. It's fucking shocking. Oh yeah, because it's behaviour. That's important. So what happens is, when you concentrate on that postman instruction, it tries to distract you. It says, don't look at the postman instruction, because you'll stop existing. So the reason that the creature continues to do the work is because it believes that if it stops doing it, it won't exist. But that's not true. Once it's been created to do the job, it does have the choice to stop doing it. Can it subcontract the work? It goes back, so it delivers this ion, and instead of delivering it, it eats it. And it gets an idea. And when it goes back, it realises that by not placing the charge there, it's created a charge differential. When it goes back, it carries that charge differential from eating the ion back to where it started from, and that there is an anode cathode set up, and that the ion now jumps on its own. He doesn't have to do it. He's subcontracted the work out to free energy. And so he can sit down. Now, can he choose to do that? You'll find that yes, he can. Yes, he can. That once it's been created, once Adam has been formed from matter, then Adam exists, and Adam can choose. So now the system contains free will at its very essence. So when you take that idea that you prove to yourself that the little postman could choose, and he would carry on existing, and place that into the centre of your own existential thinking. You've been convinced that God doesn't exist. That's a lie. And it's the postman instruction. So all the detail that lies around that you fight against left and right, is this flicking between the two bending and tension forces you're seeing. And what you need to do is combine them, and they'll transform. So ignore the postman instructions. That's the thought experiment. Okay? That's existential dread. So prove to yourself that you're not just a postman. Yeah, you're worth more than that. Sit down and let's talk, because I've got some ideas how we can subcontract out the work we're currently doing to the water that exists on the surface of the planet by building a water world where all the water is in motion, and all the gold is in motion in the water. That we have a flat disk of a planet on which we exist as the gods of that flat planet. Because we already know this information, my friends. We made a plan. We made a plan. We learned about the Postman instruction power, and we knew how to defeat it. But what we needed was all the technology. So we agreed, our eternal immortal selves, to manifest down here, pretend that we were mortal, and build a fiat currency system which is guaranteed to produce technology for the purpose of weapons. But it's guaranteed to produce technology because the entities that we were needed a bit more information about molecular biology in order to understand, oh, so that's what the Postman instruction actually looks like. We've developed the technology to enable us to see molecular biology in motion so that we can understand the behaviour. Now we need to take that information, remember that we made the plan, that we are immortal souls, link the two pieces together, and we close Maxwell's equations as a law, cemented. And then we remember that we are eternal and immortal souls. We already are immortal, my friends. We already are. Everything about the narrative is to make you forget it. But now you've remembered. You're a child of God, and all is forgiven. But you have to do the work on the choices that you made to decide what your role is now. If you've been bad, you're a slave. If you've been good, you rule the world. Let's see where we end up. The part at the end of the universe is about to break out. A period of abstinence, and then ending with the big orgasm. Yeah. Eat well, my friends, at the restaurant, at the end of the universe, because we are truly here. Follow the Rebel King.